What's My Line? Brought to you by Kellogg's. Kellogg's Cereals. The best to you each morning from Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now let's all play What's My Line? And now, from New York, let's meet our What's My Line panel. First, the delightful star of stage and television, Miss Arlene Francis.
Thank you. And now, backed by popular demand, mine, Martin Gabel.
On my left, a girl with the powers of cross-examination fitting for Clarence Darrow, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
And on my left, the Squire of Mount Kisco, our Random House publisher, Bennett, Cerf.
Mr. Daly had a bad day today, John Daly. He played such terrible golf, so he threw his golf pants in the fire. And he's the only panel moderator I've ever met now who's burned his britches behind him.
Terrible.
Here he is, John Charles Daly.
The almanacs all said it was going to be a long, hot summer, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Bennett, really. Martin, again, it's fine to see you sitting in that place, sir.
John, thank you.
And we trust that you have an interesting half hour, all four of you. We've got some very interesting occupations. We will also have a famous mystery guest before my friends on the panel a little bit later in the program, and we'll meet our first challenger after that. And now, to meet our first challengers, will you enter and sign in, please? Mr. and Mrs. O.L. Lambert, Jr., right? Fine. All right. Mr. and Mrs. Lambert, where are you from?
California.
California? What part of California?
El Cajon.
El Cajon, where's that?
17 miles from San Diego.
Oh, that's down in the south part. Well, they call me the Napa Valley Kid out there. 17 miles down south of San Diego, which is also south of Los Angeles. Right on the border. And there we are. That's fine. Good. It's nice to have you both with us. May I present you to the panel to you, and will you join me over here, please? And we'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. Panel, we can tell you that Mr. and Mrs. Lambert are salaried and deal in a service, and we'll begin the general questioning with Arlene Francis.
Well, Mr. Lambert, I noticed, has very strong hands. Is what you do something that requires physical dexterity?
Yes.
Do you do whatever you do together?
Yes.
Do you do it out of doors?
Yes. Yes.
Do you wear something other than what you're wearing now when you perform your job?
Yes.
Do people watch you when you perform?
They could, sometimes. Would you say that's a fair answer? Sometimes they could watch them.
Do you ever do what you do on, in, or beneath the water?
On, in, or beneath the water? I would say no, wouldn't you?
No.
No. That would make it 1 down and 9 to go. Mr. Gabel.
Do you do what you do on water?
I said on.
No, since that
You
it
included
was
beneath.
on, in, or beneath, so it could have been either way. Martin has a chance to, tack that right down, and Martin wants to go to the point of working on the water. Is that right?
Thank you, John. You understand my
That's fine.
analytical
That's 2
process.
down,
No.
and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you work on land as opposed to in the air? Let me put it another way. As opposed to being airborne in some sort of craft.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But you are sometimes off terra firma.
Yes.
Like you might be on a ladder or some sort of equipment.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Do you have anything to do with either building or drilling?
With building something or drilling something?
Yes.
No. That makes it 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. and Mrs. Lambert, does the work that you do outdoors have anything whatever to do with the entertainment world?
No. That's 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
You said that you wore something other than the clothes that you wear now when you are doing your job. Would the clothes that you wear have a cover than an undercover?
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement.
That's fair
Wouldn't
enough.
you say so?
They cover you more than they expose you.
Yes.
Yes.
What sort of people do you think they are?
They might want to cool off a little. Are you quite often off the ground when you are performing your job?
Yes.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Are you propelled off the ground in any way, with anything, or in anything?
Well, I think we would have to agree in a manner of speaking that when they get off the grounds, they get some help.
They're not all by themselves.
Yeah.
Is it an enclosure that you are in when you go off the ground?
No.
You are out of that.
That's 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Gabel.
May I take, as we said in logic classes, a new tack? Are there any animals involved in what you do?
Any animals?
That's a nice...
Thank you, John Bennett.
Tech you, too. That's fine. That's 6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. and Mrs. Lambert, do you think that if we were in the right place, anyone on the panel could use your services?
Yes.
Yes.
You said you don't build. Do you repair or excavate anything?
No. That's 7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. and Mrs. Lambert, you are salaried. Does your salary come from a non-profit making organization?
Nope. 8 down
No?
and 2 to go, Miss Francis.
Now, it requires dexterity of some kind. If you were not dexterous in your job, might you be hurt in some way?
I would say if you went on, generally in an attitude, shall we say, of high attention, and if you were not very careful how you used yourself and the implements with which you worked, that you could be in a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
Are you ever up a pole of any kind, like a telephone pole, or where wires are concerned?
No. That's 9 down and 1 to go. You may have 30 seconds for a cut.
I'm eager for one, yeah.
Oh.
I don't know where I'm at.
Something
You
with
think they
rockets
could have
or
it-
projectiles of some kind?
It's non-profit. It's profit-making.
Well, they're profit
They don't go that far off the ground.
Well, what did you have in mind?
Well, I had in mind something like window washing or painting at a great height.
That would be it.
The audience is giving it away, so I'll flip the cards over to Dorothy's got it. Very well done. I can't blame our audience because it was a great guess, Dorothy.
John, I introduced Dorothy as having the cross-examination powers of a Clarence Darrow. Had she defended Scopes, evolution would have won.
Well, the Cook Building Maintenance Company, is that?
Yes.
Are lucky enough to have in their employ both Mr. and Mrs. Lambert, both of whom are window washers, both of whom hold the the union cards as window washers.
Does Mrs. Lambert work inside while Mr. Lambert works outside?
No, Mrs. Lambert asks no favors. She does everything that Mr. Lambert
Good
does,
for you.
and you like it outside better than inside.
You put these belts behind you, hook yourselves on with belts. Is that
California doesn't have too many belts. We work off of scaffolds.
You all right, Bennett? You?
Yes.
Because I wouldn't want anybody to give you a belt. Well, it's a long, hot summer. Mrs. Lambert, thanks very much for coming to see us. And Mr. Lambert. And now to meet our second challenger. Will you enter and sign in, please? Sura Malik, right? And is it Miss or Mrs. Malik? Miss Malik, and where are you from?
Fort Lee, New Jersey.
Fort Lee, New Jersey. Nice to have you with us. May I present the panel? And now would you join me over here, please? And we'll let the audience know, both at home and in the theater, what you're like. All right, panel, we can tell you that Miss Malik is salaried and deals in a product. And we'll begin the general questioning with Bennett, Cerf.
Miss Malik, Fort Lee, that's where Palisades Park is, isn't it?
Yes.
May I assume that you have nothing whatever to do with Palisades Park?
No.
That'll be 1 down and 9 to go. Tough luck, Bennett. Arlene?
Well, then, of course, we assume you do have something to do with Palisades Park.
My wife can think clearly.
Yes, indeed.
That's going right to the heart of the matter.
And in August, too.
Good get, Arlene.
Do you do something in a performing way at Palisades Park?
You mean as a part of specific entertainment so that any performance would be considered by any audience which was looking at it as directly
I don't know what I mean
entertainment?
till you tell me, John.
That's
Is that
fine.
what
We'll
I
give it
am?
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Gabel.
You work behind the scenes in Palisades Park.
It's a terrible way.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
In other words, if I were to go to Palisades Park, I would see you, or it's possible that I would see you
Yeah.
at something. Would I be inclined to purchase anything from you? Might it be a ticket?
No.
Nope. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Miss Malik, do you have anything to do with the dispensing of either food or drink in Palisades Park?
Yes.
Do you work then in one of the restaurant pavilions connected with the park, selling either peanuts, hot dogs, pretzels, or
Chicken, steak.
or Kellogg's cornflakes?
No.
That's 5. 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
However, you do have something to do with dispensing either food or drink.
Yes.
Is it something like spun candy? Is it spun candy? No? Yes.
I must say, you're too good tonight, so we throw all the cards over. Actually, Miss Malik makes and sells what we call cotton candy as kids. I guess you call it spun candy. I've always been tremendously fond of it. Haven't been able to
Miss
eat
Malik
it.
looks like one of those strawberry spun candies tonight.
Oh, pretty as a picture.
Uh-huh.
But you know, Miss Malik works for her dad, who has several concessions in Palisades Park. And one thing that will interest all of you, because I think Martin might even remember it, her dad was with us 14 years ago, 1952.
Oh, no.
He also
And he was a
candy
weight
spinner?
guesser then. Remember? You remember?
yes,
Take your memory
of
back to
course.
weight guessing?
He's made a fortune in Palisades Park.
We hope. We
Miss
certainly
Malik,
hope.
what makes that spun candy so sticky?
Sugar. It's made of pure sugar.
And that's what sticks to your fingers?
Yes.
Well, that's not what makes Bennett sticky, so I guess there must not. Oh, my. Don't say that. Well, I must say, Miss Malik, it's very nice to have had you with us, and would you be good enough to give your dad our best regards and say that we are happy for his success?
Well, thank you very
Nice
much.
to see you. We'll meet tonight's mystery guest in just a moment, but first, here is a word from our sponsor. And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery challenger, for which my friends in the panel are always blindfolded. Blindfolds are in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you enter mystery challenger and sign in, please? Panel, as you know, in this case, a different form of questioning, one question at a time, in turn, moving clockwise. And we'll begin with Dorothy Kilgallen.
Are you a performer in show business?
Well, I think so.
Mr. Cerf?
Have you made your mark at any time on the silver screen?
No.
No?
That's one down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Are you primarily a theater performer?
Sometimes, not really.
Sometimes, not sometimes. I think we would have to beg the issue primarily there, but sometimes would be the answer. Mr. Gabel?
Do you appear on the stage mostly in musical comedies?
On few occasions, not
Are you
really.
Zero Mostel?
No, that makes it 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen. Not Vera Mostel.
Have you made any recordings?
I have.
Mr. Cerf?
Have you appeared on a regular television program within the last few years?
No, I'm afraid not.
Now, you're talking about in a regular series as a performer in a regular
As
series.
a performer in a regular series.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
The squealing that was done by the audience leads me to believe that you are perhaps a very popular singing star.
I sing a little, yes.
The answer would be clearly yes to that. Mr. Gabel?
Have you had a record that sold 1 million copies? Since I have no idea who you are.
Then I have no idea how many million records I've sold.
Miss Kilgallen?
Were you born in some place other than the United States?
If I remember correctly, I was, yes.
Were you, did you ever appear in Camelot?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, it's not Goulet. It's not.
He could be in Canada, Goulet. He's in Canada.
You want a conference?
Yeah, I was in Camelot.
He wasn't in Camelot.
Does somebody want
Yes,
a
he
conference?
was in Camelot.
Does
Oh,
somebody want a
Marty,
conference?
back to California. And now, wait a minute. A singing star. Are you performing at the present time in a club in New York or a hotel?
No.
That makes it 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Are you appearing on the stage in New York at the present time?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen. This August heat is getting
Were
to
you born in the British Isles?
No.
7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Cerf.
And you're not American, and you're not English. Do you come from some European country?
No.
8 down and 2 to go, Miss Francis.
Have you ever been on the panel of this show?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you're the...
Oh, what?
You're the biggest screaming success in town. Is it Paul Anka? Weren't you in The Longest Day on the screen?
What say?
Wasn't Paul in The Longest Day, or did I just imagine it?
Yes,
I was.
but
It's very quick.
He
Oh,
felt he
that's
wasn't
what
really
maybe
a
you
movie.
had a short part in The
That's why
Longest
I
Day.
I didn't want you to
eliminated
have
him.
the impression that I was a movie actor.
And I wanted, actually, I thought of that. I knew he was the longest day, but that
That's what made
could
me
have
eliminate
misled
it.
you if we'd said yes.
Because I thought that the screams meant it might be Paul Anka, but then when he said that he wasn't on
I
the
take
silver
all the
screen,
blame. I
I'll
take
give
all the
you
blame.
a consolation.
But,
Good effort.
I'm the fellow who doesn't know where you were born, Paul.
Canada.
Canada. Yeah. And he's just back from Sweden.
Just got back from Sweden.
And going to Las Vegas?
I open at the Sands tomorrow.
Ah, well, you've got to do some traveling. He's a traveling man. There's no question about that. And we had a lot of fun when you were with us in the panel, Paul. Thanks for coming
I did
to see
too.
us.
Thank you for having me.
As a mystery guest. Nice to see you. Well, I guess we have to admit you've done pretty well tonight so far, panel, and we offer congratulations. We'll have another contestant after this word from our alternate sponsor. And now to meet a final contestant. Will you enter and sign in, please? Mark? Macero? Fine. How are you, Mark? Mark, we asked you where you're from.
West Haven, Connecticut.
West Haven, Connecticut? All right, Mr. Macero, may I present our panel? Now, would you join me over here? We'll let the audience in the theater and the audience at home know exactly what your line is. All right, panel, we can tell you that Mr. Macero is self-employed and deals in a product, and we'll begin the general questioning with Mark and Gabel.
Mr. Nacero, do you do your work in West Haven?
Yes.
Is West Haven near New Haven?
Yes, it is. About 2 miles.
Do you go to school in the wintertime?
Yes.
But your school has nothing to do with your work, right?
No.
This the matter at hand. Is the product something I could use?
Maybe.
It would be a product that you would use if you had let us say, a reasonable interest in an area which would involve the product. Would that be fair? Mm-hmm.
Right. Does the product involve, say, something relating to a hobby?
Yes.
Is it a hobby that's just as useful for women as men? Or just as diverting, I mean?
Yes.
Is it more usually a hobby of men?
Yes.
Is it an outdoor thing?
Yes.
Is it seasonal?
Yes.
Something done more in the summertime than the wintertime?
Yes.
Is it something I could lift in my hand?
Yes.
Is it smaller than a bread box?
Yes.
If these questions seem compulsive, I can't help myself.
You're doing very well, Martin.
It is, am I right in thinking it is not a yo-yo?
Yes, you're right.
Is it something I could play with in my backyard? If I had a backyard?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is it something that is done by one person rather than 2 or more?
No.
I would think there that Mark is right. You would have to have a companion to really get the full benefit, I would say. That's one down and 9 to go.
That goes for anything, John.
Miss Kilgallen.
Is this connected with a hobby which is connected with a net?
No.
That's 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Nacera, could you call this, anything that's done with this product, a game?
You could, yes.
If you use the word very loosely, we would agree it would be a game.
Is there more than one piece to the equipment that you handle?
Yes.
Is it sold in a box?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
Just comes loose, huh? No box. Is there a ball used in the game?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Gabel.
Does this product fit over your feet?
Good Lord. No, I'm going to throw all the chips in because we're very close to running out of time. Martin, you did a remarkable job at getting into the general area, and with a little more time, I think you might have caught up with
John,
it.
thank you.
Mark raises and sells racing pigeons. And how do you practice with them, Mark? What do? You take them out and then you race back and get back before they get back? Is that what you have to
Every
do?
day, a man takes them out in a truck to train them, maybe about 30 miles. And that conditions them for a race.
Do they carry
John,
messages?
do you realize how fantastic it is that these pigeons, I've read about them, find their way home from hundreds of miles, under all and any circumstance, through hail and sleet and rain?
All right, Mark. We're running out of time, Mark. Thanks very much for the hail, the sleet, and the rain. Nice to have you. As a matter of fact, we have run out of time, and with the panel's permission, I will say good night for all, and thank you all for being with us on What My Line.
What's My Line is a CBS television network production in association with Mark Goodson and Bill Cotton. This is Johnny Olson speaking. The program was pre-recorded. If you'd like to attend one of our broadcasts, write CBS Tickets, 485 Madison Avenue, New York, New York, 10022.